wait for Friedman.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Mohill. Councilwoman Laura Friedman, I live political campaign mailers. Mailers tell a great deal about a candidate and their supporters. Mrs. Friedman, as a Democrat on the left-leaning, far left, why have the Independent Political Action Committee charter schools endorsed and paid the thousands of dollars necessary for your campaign mailers? And why, as a person on the far left, do the traditional public schools not support you? Mrs. Friedman, the June 7 ballot is a referendum on your policies. Measure N, the repeal of the utilities users tax, is about stupidity, fear, and how greed hides outrageous salaries and pension retirement benefits of our union workforce. Every time there was a salary increase, you approved 100% of the raises. We have been in a recession for many years, and families are finding it difficult to put food on their tables, pay their electric rates and water bills. Instead, you approved transferring year after year $20 million to the general fund in violation of the city charter, Proposition 26, Proposition 218. In order to restore the funding of GWP, you have increased our electric and water rates. After cannibalizing GWP, we will have to float an additional $350 million bond for the repair of our aging and crumbling Grayson Power Plant. Mrs. Friedman, in the past you said you were comfortable for the next generation of kids to pay for the bond debts you created. As a far left-leaning council person, you talk about protecting families, and in my opinion, the only families you care to protect are government union families who continue contributing thousands and thousands of dollars to your campaign. We had 756 city employees in 2014 earning annually between $100,000 and over $300,000 in salaries and pension benefits. In 2014, the median pay for a full-time City of Glendale resident was $45,245. The median pay for a full-time Glendale City Union employee is a whopping $82,821. Mrs. Friedman, as a person who makes policy, why should a Caliper City employee earn a whopping 83% more than the folks who have to pay the bills? A few years back, Mrs. Friedman, you once had the audacity to say Social Security was only made to keep people out of abject poverty. But you care more about the welfare of our union CalPERS employees with their outrageous salaries and outrageous retirement pensions than the voters who put you into office. Mrs. Friedman, with this income inequality, is this why the police, fire, and other city unions support you and want voters to vote yes, and vote to no on Measure N? Vote N for your people. Mrs. Friedman, you represent big government unions, and not the working families of Glendale. You claim to be environmentalists, but your approval of over 4,000 apartments on Grand Central Canyon, we call it nowadays, has hastened the demise of our cherished landfill, impacted our limited water resources, and will create a traffic nightmare in the Central Business District long after you are gone. Your legacy will be all the mega apartment complexes you approved. Now, after the damages have been done, you want to leave Glendale for Sacramento. You've become the best friend of real estate interests, developers, contractors, and subcontractors. You count as your friends millionaire developers like Mark Nathanson, Rick Caruso, Greg Lemley, and Holland Partners, who are hosting parties and giving you thousands of dollars to show their appreciation for you allowing them to maximize their profits with dangerous hanging balconies, insufficient parking, and zero green space. Mrs. Friedman, if it were not for your close associate friend with your convicted friend, felon John Draymond, and him introducing you to his close friends and supporters, you would not be on council today. Thank you.
Mr. Mohill. Next item, Mr. Kaz.